to the end of my blast now ahead of the British Championships this weekend. So I went off to get my bloods done this morning at Sutton Medical Centre. I opted to go and get the venous nurse administered blood test where they needle into your arm and they kind of vacuum the blood out compared with like a finger prick because it offers more biomarkers. So I went to get that done this morning. It was horrific. I'm not scared of needles. I've been exposed to the use of performance enhancing drugs for like 2 years. I'm completely fine with needles, 3 years even, but I had a horrendous response this morning. Literally passed out. I'm not sure why. I think it's because I watched the blood get vacuumed and I just sort of went, but no idea. It was a horrific experience, but nonetheless the bloods were taken fine. So I'm interested as to what they come back like. May show you in this video, may do a full video on it. But it is the British Championships this weekend, which means that we are obviously water cutting. Now, it's currently Wednesday. I compete Saturday, which means I'm going to weigh in the day before, Friday. And as I say, it's Wednesday now. I'm 90, 91, something like that in the morning. It's slightly skewed at the moment just because water's everywhere, but that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. And I need to be 82 on Friday. So I've got a lot of weight to lose. I've got a lot of water to cut. And I'm basically going to take you with me over the next couple of days as to how I'm going to use this wonderful thing along with sodium and carbohydrates to manipulate my weight. None of this going in today, unfortunately. Now, I'm a big fan of salt. I have salt very, very, very high for a multitude of reasons, but 0 gram of sodium today, 0 gram of carb today, which means ultimately probably about 10 gram in total with trace, just because I find it incredibly difficult to have completely zero. But today's food's like really low in total anyway. Like it will literally be, it was chicken this morning just by itself with a little bit of veg. Chicken again now with a little bit of veg. It will be red meat with a little bit of veg. And if I can get away with it, 100% dark chocolate. I actually don't know the carb on 100%. I know there's a little bit in the usual 85, but I've got some 100. So if the 100% dark chocolate is 0 carb or near enough, we will run a little bit of that. But other than that, it will literally just be meat and veg. So yeah, interesting. Okay, so we've reached 9:30 p.m, which is the time of the final sip of water, which means that from here on out, weight will hopefully just be coming down. So whatever I weigh now will be the heaviest weigh-in from now through till weigh-in. We just ate the final meal. It was literally like the second meal of the day. I haven't eaten much at all. It was just steak and mackerel. I ran out of veg. So obviously we've had a meal plus all this water, which means that whatever I weigh will be the heaviest weigh-in of now to weigh in. I'm going to weigh in these cloves. It's a couple of 100 grams. I've literally weighed in them throughout the whole of like the last couple of days by AM weigh-ins. So we'll get a weigh-in and then we'll see where we're at. Got to finish this first though. 90.4 kilos. So technically 7.9 kilos over what I need to be. 400 gram can probably be attributed to the clothing that I'm wearing, so we'll say 90. I imagine there are a couple of kilos in there from water that will just go when I piss throughout tonight and tomorrow. Then we will have a good few kilos to do in the sauna, the shower, the bath, whatever, and in the sauna suit. So that will be hella interesting. We'll take you along that journey tomorrow, but for now, we're just going to see what happens to body weight. Okay, so just weighed in at 86.2, completely stripped, completely naked. So that's kind of where I'm at like an absolute best case. I just gone for like a little dribble wee as well. So like 86.2 is realistically where I'm at. And I'm just about to head to Redditch to go meet up with Chris. It's like an hour drive on 0 water, 0 salt, 0 food. So that'll be interesting. But we've got the sauna suit. It arrived today from Amazon. I've never had to do this before, but I decided today's going to be the day. So the sauna suit's coming out, not for the sauna, but for the way back and for the drive to Wales tomorrow. But we're going to go meet up with Chris. We're going to get in the sauna, get out, wipe the sweat off, get back in, go again. And we'll keep you updated with where we get up to there.
Went to bed weighing 84.0 and woke up after a tiny little trickle of wee at like 83.8, 83.9. So realistically not as much loss overnight as we'd maybe hoped for. So that put a little bit more pressure on this morning, which wasn't helped when I found there was no hot water. And I didn't really want to leave like 1.5 kilos on that sort of car journey up. Even though the sauna suit will help me bring off a good few hundred grams, it's just a lot of pressure put on one vector, if you like. And for me, pressure is not what I need right now. Stress is the worst thing when you're trying to pull water out of the cell, obviously. So I found a bath in Lichfield, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the saviour that pushes me under 1 kilo away, which then means my journey up to Rhyl will probably be less stressful, which means I'll probably also pull more weight off on the journey. Final steps now at the gym to queue, so I'm just doing a couple more just because I feel as though I may as well, just because I'm going to be in the queue anyway. I'm not going to get my fluids any quicker, so I may as well get on and just secure the weigh in, because as much as I just like to sit there, if I then don't make weight, I've got to come and do this, so I may as well get it done.
Okay, so we weighed in at 82.5 on the dot, which is literally perfect. I wasn't sure it was going to be bang on. I was like, what was I, like high 82s kind of time at the time of arrival to the venue on my scale. And I had a little bit of feeling that the scales at the weigh-in were slightly lighter, just based on a couple of people before me saying so. So I was kind of confident. I still did about sort of, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes of relatively paced walking in literally just the suit. But that was sort of all I needed really to push me over the line, and obviously we weighed in perfectly. So this is the first direct meal. I have had a few packs of cheddars just to kind of get things going while we were in the car and things like that. But first direct meal is going to be this. So I've had about, up to this point, I've had 3.75 litres. So relatively hydrated enough to take a meal on. I've had, this is my third Volvic in there, obviously at 1.5, so I've had 3 already litres, as 3 litres already from water directly, and then 750ml from a Lucozade, and that's pretty much it. No protein or no direct fat going in at this stage, literally just carbohydrates and Doritos in there for the umami.
6.5 hours later.
Okay, so normally you guys know that I will use like a saucepan or like a big mixing bowl for my cereal, because I'll normally have like, I don't know, 150 grams or whatever. But with today being one of the days where I don't really want to eat anything at this point, I'm going to be more conservative with portion size and literally going to just basically fill this bowl up. It's not really a day where I'm going to like track accurately. It's more just a case of I'm going to eat as much as I can without kind of, you know, risking being sick or kind of going overboard. So it's going to be, as I say, a little top up now of carbohydrates. There's not really going to be a fat lot of protein or fat going in, just because fat will obviously amount of trace over the day. I won't be really having any direct fat sources, but it will definitely be enough. And protein's pretty much the same. Like, I made an effort with a couple of things that I've had today to kind of think about protein, but it's not really something that I'm gonna shoot for necessarily, just because it doesn't really offer me a fat lot one day out. So it's literally just carb sources at this stage, and I'm gonna have one of these to go with it as a little bit of energy management, because we've got a lot of work to do. I'm literally just chilling on the sofa doing some work. I'm currently 89.4, so we're up 7 kilo, but realistically I want to be nearer to 10 without the clothes, if I'm honest. So we're going to continue to push up. I'm not really going to be pissing or shitting a fat lot. It's just going to be a case of getting the food in, and not sort of beginning to piss, hopefully.
Thank you. Day 2.
Okay, so a couple of weeks post-competition now, if you follow me on Instagram or you kept up to date with kind of anything to do with my social media, you'll have obviously known that the British finals was not a good performance for me. I'm not going to go into too much detail on the competition because obviously this video was specifically about the water cut protocol, but nonetheless the competition day was a day that offered me a lot of mixed emotions in terms of obviously performance wasn't great because we bombed and therefore totaled 0 kilos, but at the same time there was some good things to take in terms of like the way that I dealt with it and the lifts that I put up post that. So squats, I'll play over the screen. We had 3 pops at a squat and all of which were red lighted, which is new for me. I've never dealt with this before, but the judging standards were just simply higher on this competition, and that's the way that it goes as a lifter. You have to perform to the expectations of those 3 in front of you, and unfortunately at least 2 out of 3 within all of my lifts felt that it wasn't good enough, and that's the way that it is. So opener was, which you've just seen, was I don't even remember anymore, I think like 270 or something like that, and then my second and third were both 285, and as you can see the load wasn't really the problem. It was more just the fact that I couldn't get down there, or I could, but I didn't get down there, mainly just because I haven't trained that deep in competition, and that's my bad. Fortunately, you guys who follow me on Instagram will also know we've had redemption since then. I'm currently speaking about 3 or 4 weeks post-competition now. It's currently sort of middle of December and I'm in Dubai, and the competition was in the UK in November. But yeah, squats just weren't to be on the day. Bench was mediocre. Bench is bench. I don't really get on with it with the elbow situation that I have, but I was happy with the numbers that I put up. And deadlift, well, deadlift was great. We actually managed to take a humongous PB. My best competition PB was 245 and we managed to pull 276 really easily. Obviously it's not an official comp PB because it won't go down because I didn't total, but I got 3 whites from British title judges, British Championship judges, so really pleased with deadlift. And as I say, we went on for redemption, so the next YouTube video is that redemption in action, and obviously if you keep up to date with my Instagram, which is on the screen, you will have seen or be able to see all of that. But I hope you guys really enjoyed the water cut video. If you guys are interested in how I was able to pull my body weight from 93 kilos right the way down to 82.5, weigh in bang on my weight limit and rehydrate the next day for optimal performance, we now have a water cut protocol live on ballstrong.co.uk. It is a collaboration with yours truly, Chris Pugh, arguably the GOAT of all water cuts. And as I say, it is available now as the first link in the description. This protocol is suitable for anyone looking to pull from 1% right up to 10% of their body weight off for a weight cut. The weight cut will last around 6 days in total, so make sure you don't purchase it any further away from your competition than 6 days. And as I say, we don't condone the pulling off of more than 10% of body weight, but we have a category selection to where you can almost enter your data in terms of how much you need to pull off, and it will almost spit back out to you exactly the protocol that you need to follow. And there is also a full rehydration protocol in there as well to ensure that you can perform optimally at your competition. So hopefully that is of use to some of you guys. I know in the past when I've done water cuts, everyone's been asking me about sort of what I recommend in terms of a protocol, so I thought how better to answer that than to collaborate with one of the best water cutters in the UK and drop a protocol. So as I say, first link in the description, guys. Let me know your thoughts and we will see you in the next video.